Welcome back to Outpost 6. Today we're going to cover Economics, Unit 1, Question 2. It's going to take a little bit of time to go through this, but this is, I think, will cover a good overview and actually bring back some things even back as far as world studies. So we're going to try and tie this all together and cover question number 2. How does democracy and a market economy work together? I think the best way to show you this is to show you this diagram. And it's like a teeter-totter here. I'll move this up here. Show my pointer. And hopefully we can get rid of the caption there. All right, so looking at this diagram, we have the triangle down there at the bottom showing the fulcrum. And really, there's 3 pillars of this fulcrum. We have the Greeks, Romans, and Judeo-Christian beliefs. It's what our democratic republic and our market economy, better known as capitalism, is based off of. And so really, if we start with the Greeks, the legacy of the Greeks is that they brought us philosophy and government. They talked about natural laws, democracy, and the 3 branches of government. If you look at the Roman legacy, they gave us the idea of a republic, a representative government. They gave us a written legal code that applied to all citizens. And the bottom piece here, Judeo-Christian legacy, is that they believed that there were the rights of the individual. Everyone had worth. Everyone was important. Everyone was born for a purpose. Secondly, ethical values. And then lastly, the need to fight injustice. So that's the bottom piece. Then we move to democratic republic. And so if you've already done the government piece of this, you already know, you've answered these questions, but basically we're looking at what are the ideals of a democratic republic? And for us in the United States, it's about equality, rights, liberty, opportunity, and democracy. The principles we talked about, popular sovereignty, right? It's the people who have power, and they're giving it to the government to provide certain things for them. Also, principles of limited government. The founding fathers wanted our government to be as small as possible because they found that the bigger it got, the more tyrannical it got. Judicial review, we're talking about the courts, checks and balances, separation of powers, and federalism, the ability to have a federal government, a state government, you breaking it down all the way to local governments. And then the goals of the Constitution are to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, secure the blessings of liberty. So then we move into econ, and really, to have a market economy, you must have a democratic economy. Really, for it, I guess the Chinese cheat a little bit, which is, I guess, nothing new. But the market economy and the democratic republic go together because the values of the two are similar. And so capitalism is based on this market economy of private enterprise, private property. Socialism and communism, the government are the people who own the factors of production, which we will get into. So they own it, they produce it, it's up to the government. And so if we move into private property, in America, based on our government, we have the right to own property. And so in a business sense, this allows entrepreneurs to profit from their ownership, whether it's from a piece of property or machinery that they own to help produce goods and services to make money. Freedom of choice. Owners are free to produce, sell in a competitive market. Let's keep going through here. Motive and self-interest. Look at this is basically like an auction type system or like an eBay, where people come to a market and they have the ability to sell something and another person has the ability to buy something. They're not forced to do it. It's a voluntary exchange of goods and services. Competition. Okay, we're looking for competition, and hopefully companies compete to make better products and cheaper products. Let's see here, talking about competitive advantage, systems of markets and prices. This is just, like this eBay example where you have the ability to buy and sell things based on supply and demand. And then lastly, limited government. And really, the founders believe that, the smaller the government, the better. You're going to keep hearing me say this, but really one of the things that the government should be doing is making sure that companies don't get so big that they can monopolize the market. And so this is something that actually a government should do, is make sure that there is fair competition. I guess an example could be where the government acts like a referee between two teams or companies competing for your business. Let's see here. I'm trying to think. There's a couple things that are protected, there are a few things that in a market economy are protected in the Constitution. So things like Article 1, Section 8 talks about private property. Article 4 talks about private property and limits the government from unreasonable search and seizures. Amendment 5 talks about the protects ownership and private property. So there's lots of different places throughout the Constitution that allows for the protection of private property, which blends right into entrepreneurship and individuals and groups of people developing companies to make money. So I hope that is a good overview and helps you understand the question. So I guess we're out of here. We're done with question number 2. Peace.